Cartoon Network has provided a variety of different classics throughout my childhood. This channel is responsible for some of my favorite cartoons of all time, such as Ed, Edd n Eddy, Ben 10, The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, and Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. I have so many fond memories with these cartoons, and many more. And then CN Real came along and ruined everything. In 2009, Cartoon Network made the brilliant idea to stop airing 95% of our beloved cartoons, and instead went all in on promoting this reality show garbage nobody asked for. This was certainly the dark age of Cartoon Network, during a time where the channel was losing its identity. Thankfully, this programming block was short-lived. Gee, I wonder why. And in the following year came one cartoon that was so brilliant, it restored my faith back in the network. My first time watching Regular Show was back when it first premiered on Cartoon Network in 2010, with the episode The Power. While yes, it left a great first impression, I was more caught off guard by the dialogue and how different it was compared to the majority of other shows that aired on Cartoon Network during that time period. Regular Show's target demographic certainly wasn't intended for kids. For instance, characters will say things such as, "Crap!
Holy crap! He's gonna be pissed!
You pissed me off."
Nowadays, it's easy to say, well, what's the big deal? It's just mild cursing. But trust me, at the time, this type of comedy was very unexpected, which is probably why they toned it down a bit in the later seasons, at least in regards to dialogue.
Now, how in the H are we gonna fix this S? Now, how in the heck are we gonna fix this stuff?
The reason I bring this up is because by going in this direction, the targeted demographic can not only be expanded, as I've said before, but the cartoon itself can stand out more. No other Cartoon Network show was doing this at the time. In fact, Regular Show was originally intended for adults before the pilot episode ran on Cartoon Network on August 14th. 2009. The creator, J.G. Quintel, published a series of student films back in the day, one of them being named 2 in the AM PM. This short film marked the first ever appearance of Mordecai and Benson from Regular Show. It also provided much more inappropriate content than one would notice when watching the final version.
That's because I put drugs in it. It's just a little marijuana. I didn't put any weed in this candy. It was acid.
Acid? What the fuck is wrong with you? Fuck off! Shit, what do we do? What do we do? Fuck, what do we do? What do we do? You are so full of shit. I fucking hate you.
I have a dream that one day, Regular Show will have a revival season exclusively on Adult Swim. Considering the show always experimented with darker themes regardless, you might as well give it that creative freedom to go even deeper. Samurai Jack did this exact thing, and with the recent trend of reviving cult classic cartoons, I don't think this idea is too far-fetched. That being said, there are a ton of other reasons why Regular Show as a series is so memorable. It had some pretty unforgettable episodes, and we all have our favorites. Part of what helps us remember these episodes is how ridiculous and insane the climaxes were. Every episode normally introduces a conflict, and during the process of attempting to solve that particular conflict, a much larger conflict forms, one that nobody saw coming. A conflict that is so ridiculous, so random, and so out of the place that the audience can only find enjoyment in it. That's what makes Regular Show so original. It just wants to be entertaining. And J.G. Quintel, the creator, makes that point clear. He wanted to make something people have never seen before.
Because it's animation, I mean, you can do anything. So they could have been human, but that would have been kind of boring.
Bingo!
If you get past the fact that it's a Yeti and a gumball machine and a lollipop, they really are all just kind of normal people hanging out.
What I think makes a comedy cartoon work is the complete understanding that it is a cartoon and that it can do whatever the hell it wants. But what makes this show so unique is that it was much more than just a comedy. When it had the chance, it had these relatable scenes and deep messages I'll never forget. One of the scenes I can think of at the top of my head is when Benson completely loses his cool and we see the other side of his character.
We didn't know it was daytime. There aren't any windows in the arcade.
Excuses! Excuses! How am I supposed to trust you when all you give me are excuses? When are you two gonna learn that your actions have consequences? Consequences that affect other people, like me. Don't you two understand? I'm about to lose my job. You may not care about keeping your jobs, but I care about keeping mine. Because if I lose my job, I have nothing. Do you hear me? I have nothing.
It's easy to summarize Benson as this overly strict boss with anger management issues. But here, we finally get to see what it's like to be in his shoes. Another deep moment in the series is when Margaret breaks up with Mordecai because she got accepted into her dream school.
I really like you, Mordecai, and what we have is special, but I may never get this opportunity again. I'm sorry, but I can't be your girlfriend.
Mordecai then goes on to suffer from major depression for weeks. His friends try to do everything they can to support him. Even Benson is there to help Mordecai get through this dark time in his life. It's because of them that he slowly realizes life goes on and that everything is going to be okay. And he regains his happiness back. It's a pretty powerful scene. Regular Show also had a movie, and in this 1 hour special, they revealed the biggest shocker in the series history. Rigby lied and made Mordecai believe he wasn't accepted into a university, which ultimately changed his life forever.
I can't believe you, Rigby. All this time you were lying to me? And what? So you forged my rejection letter, is that it?
Yeah, but
Ugh! Why would you do that?
I had to. You would have gone off to college without me.
You don't get it, do you?
It was just one lie. I was just trying to...
It's always just one thing with you. You don't do that to your best friend. You're the reason I'm stuck in this dead-end job.
Well, I'm stuck too. Who better to be stuck with than your friend?
You're not my friend. All you've ever done is hold me back. And I'm the idiot for not seeing it until now.
Rigby does apologize towards the end of the movie, but he is treated with an unexpected response from his old friend.
You're the only friend I've ever had, and I couldn't stand the thought of losing you. I held you back and ruined your life, and I'm sorry.
Dude, you didn't ruin my life. What you did was messed up, but I think before I was putting too much blame on you for how things have turned out. I've made plenty of mistakes on my own, for sure. And if you didn't do what you did, maybe things would have been different. But I'd take working a lame job at a park with my best friend any day.
Despite its name, this show is anything but regular. The themes highlighted in this cartoon are life-changing. Regular Show taught me how to be a good friend, how to forgive, and that sometimes you have to let go of the ones you love. I like to think this show was part of Cartoon Network's Renaissance era. During a time where the network desperately needed a home run, Regular Show was one of those sparks of hope. This cartoon, along with Adventure Time, The Amazing World of Gumball, Steven Universe, so on, gave Cartoon Network new life. And it's crazy to think how almost all of those shows now are done. Many of Cartoon Network's experiments at the time of the introduction of Regular Show were failing hard. But Regular Show was such a great cartoon that Cartoon Network ran it for over 7 years. That being said, it wasn't only a success, but it could easily be remembered as a classic. And no matter what your opinion is on the show as a whole, Regular Show is a cartoon that will be missed for a long time. And on a side note, unlike a certain group of cartoons, Cartoon Network refused to milk Regular Show. And as a result, the show's ending felt very appropriate. It ended in a respectable way, in a memorable way, the way it was supposed to. Unlike SpongeBob.
Oh!
Your eyes stare into my eyes. Who am I but a guy with 2 eyes on the prize? And the prize is my eyes is 10 times the surprise in your eyes as I kiss you goodnight. The smile is the fire that rocks my soul. Gonna remember it until I grow.